Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. I hope that you'll take a minute today, 5 minutes actually, because this is 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. I hope you'll take just those few 5 minutes with me today as we study Psalm 37, verses 29 through 32. Hey, listen, if you get a chance, go out to our website, my-dailydose.com. Check out the Bible Bistro on the interwebs. Got a lot of good stuff there for you. It's all healthy and good spiritually, biblically spiritual material just for you. Today, verses 29 through 32, let me read those for us. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talks of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watches the righteous and seeks to slay him. That's verses 29 through 32. Notice in verse 29 we have our thematic idea again. Here in verse 29, the righteous shall inherit the land. How many times do we have to get that before we get that? I mean, it's been repeated over and over and over in this psalm. And of course, we know famously where we hear it in the New Testament, and that's in Matthew chapter 5, verse 5, when Jesus said, "Blessed are the merciful," or "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Here, we have it several times. And of course, we get that actual phrasing from David here in verse 11. But I mean, goodness, we have it here that the righteous shall inherit the land. In verse 22, the blessed will inherit the land. We have it that the meek will inherit the earth. In 11, we have it there in verse 9, those that wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. So it's just repeated over and over and over again here in this psalm, which just adds emphasis to what the Lord Jesus said and how he added his hand to this very idea that the righteous, the blessed, those that wait on the Lord, they're the ones who are going to have an inheritance in the future. The wicked won't have that won't have that blessing. And it says here that they will dwell therein forever. So this is an eternal blessing that the Lord is going to give to those that trust in him. Verse 30, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, his tongue talks of judgment. Let me ask you a question, friend. We've talked about your money this week. Why don't we talk about your mouth a little bit too? What's your mouth doing? Are you talking about wisdom? Are you speaking of judgment? What's your tongue doing in your mouth? We use our tongue and our mouth for a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen, that have nothing at all to do with righteousness or judgment. Not a thing. So examine what it is you're doing with your mouth. Make sure that you, believer, are reflecting this verse with your mouth and with your tongue. And similarly, look at verse 31. The law of his God is in his heart. You see, if you get the heart right, the mouth and the tongue aren't going to have a problem. But if the law of God is not in your heart, what's going to come out of your heart? It's not going to be good stuff. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. So when you talk about the law of God in your heart, what are we talking about here? I think he wants us to think about meditation. Remember what Psalm 1 verse 2 said, and in his law he meditates day and night. I think that's the idea here. Because when it says that in Psalm 1 verse 2 that the righteous man is meditating in the law of God, what comes in verse 3 is similar to what we have here in the B part of 31. In 31b here we have none of his steps shall slide. In Psalm 1 verse 3 it says he will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. So in Psalm 1 verse 3 the man that's meditating on the law of God is planted. Here the man who has the law of God in his heart, his steps are not going to slide. Now, the wicked steps are going to slide. They're in danger, and they're going to slide. And you'll notice 32, the wicked watches the righteous and seeks to slay him. So they're not doing anything good with their time or their tongue or their heart or their hands or their mind. They're not meditating on what they should be, and it seeks to undermine them. And we'll find out what's going to happen to the righteous because the wicked are watching. We'll save that for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to pick up right there and look at verses 32 through 36. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.